Hello and welcome back to another Talking Tale video. In today's one, we're looking at the tmnt, the Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution issue number 5. And this issue, I honestly forgot was coming out, but after reading it, I have some very mixed feelings about this whole issue. Just because overall with this issue, I enjoyed it enough, but a lot of my problems with the past few issues really come out to shine here with so many characters and new characters. It just felt I don't know, it just felt like so unfocused with this whole issue. And then, to make things even worse, we got Foot Clan now in this issue, setting things up for another series, great. And then they also killed April off, which I wish I could be a little bit more invested and be a bit more, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. But I really couldn't care less that she died, and I never thought I'd say that about April, but, well, here we are. So, yeah. Oh boy, so yeah, let's get into this one, and with this one, it's gonna be, like, weird to really talk about, just because some of the stuff I honestly forgot, like, even happened in the series, such as, like, Future Toy being, like, a, like, fully, like full-on, like, robot kind of thing. I forgot that happened. I forgot that the Pearl Dragon leader had a thing with April, trying to kill her and all that kind of stuff. Completely forgot about that. So there's a lot of stuff in this issue which I've forgotten about, and, like, some of this stuff happened, like, last year. And some of it, like, with the most recent stuff with, like, Future Toy, but happened, like, last issue. Now it's about, like, 3 months ago, like, oh my god, a lot has happened since then, so, yeah. And with the actual main story itself, it starts off normal and, like, fine for the most part. And then it gets interesting with the battle, but just a very disappointing and underwhelming battle before it gets really confusing with all the Foot Clan stuff. So, before all the Foot Clan stuff and all that kind of stuff happens, we do get to see the reporter. She goes on to talk about how the city went to war, now it's all stopped. And then after that, we do get to see everyone who's at Roosevelt Island, they're talking to each other. Vitel's a little bit annoyed that now they revealed that their telepathic ability. Meanwhile, all the resistance, they're just gearing up just so that way they can be ready for the next assault or something along those kind of lines. And there isn't really much to this whole scene here, just because there's just a lot of talking, really. I mean, other than the stuff with Vitel's getting up the telepathic stuff, which they don't bring up again in this issue, which, I mean, it would be cool to see them actually bring up in the next series, but I guess we'll wait and see about that. But at this point, couldn't care less about it. But then we do get some stuff with the villains, where they are setting up their whole story about what we're going to be doing next and that kind of stuff. So we've got the Pearl Dragons, the Knights, the government guy, or whatever he's called. They're all setting up their stuff for this issue, basically going over to Roosevelt Island to actually fight the resistance and that kind of stuff. There isn't really too much to this bit either. I mean, I don't know who this government guy is, and, you know, we're like reading this series for like 5 issues now, and yet still don't really know what he's really got to do with this series, but he's there, I guess. And then for the actual main, like, fight itself, where we do get to see, like, the Pearl Dragons, they come in, and they're fighting, and we'll talk about a bit more about the Pearl Dragon stuff a little bit later with April. But we do get to see, like, hey, she goes out with resistance, and she's fighting all the like guys out there. And then that's when we do get to see the turtles. They come out to help Casey just because they want lots more support out there, or something along those kind of lines. And this should be a very interesting fight, because had they actually done like an actual good story, this would have been like something which I built up to. Would tell us fighting all these guys. But yet this feels just so empty and pointless and meaningless with all this fight. But it's annoying because I want it to be good, but I can't. Just why? But yeah, and then after that we do get to see the ninjas. They pop up and they start executing everyone in this series, from the Pearl Dragons, the Knights, governments, police people, everything along those kind of lines. And we do get to see the Foot. They arrive at the Roosevelt Island. And this is where things get really annoying, just because for like a majority of the characters, except from like Turtles, Casey, April, Fugitoid, I guess Tinker as well, those are the only characters who really have any sort of, like characters like people actually recognise, know their names and that kind of stuff, have any sort of real meanings that should be in the story. The rest of them have barely been developed in this series and are just kind of there, and you really do forget about who's who and that kind of stuff. So when you do like include like the foot, it really feels like everything's coming out of nowhere and not really explaining or setting things up. I mean, some of the stuff with the Foot Clan stuff, I honestly thought I was like missing some important stuff. Turns out, no, I didn't miss anything. It's just how poorly they've done a job at like setting things up and all the characters in the series. And then it gets even weirder because at one point, like Casey goes in to fight the Foot, and she somewhat thinks, oh yeah, she's going to sacrifice herself. And we do get to see a somewhat touching moment, which I do think should have been changed. And because we do get to see Casey, she's talking to Mikey about sacrifice to life that you live because of the all sacrifice and that kind of stuff, which I don't think was a bad scene. However, the only bad thing about this is the fact that they gave it to Casey in a way in which just felt so pointless, just because it goes on to explain, oh yeah, well, you know, because you're part of this life, ninja and Hamato and that kind of stuff, you're part of the Hamato clan now, so, you know, the ninjas will show up and that kind of stuff. But I feel like this honestly would have been a better scene had they given this scene to April, just so that we can give April an actual good send-off other than what we did give her. But we'll talk about that in just a second. But this would have been a better scene had like Casey actually died, or just anything along those kind of lines. But because of the fact that we're just setting up the fact that the Hamato clan is coming back, I mean, oh god, yeah. And like speaking of the Hamato clan, on the next page we do get to see them. They show up, they defeated all the Foot Clan, and it's be like, oh yeah, well, you know, we're here. We're not gonna tell you why we're here or anything like that. We can save it for the next series. Why did you even include them at that point? It just felt so pointless and useless, but they're there now. I can't wait to see them in the third series. And then for the final few bits, we do get to see the Pearl Dragon. He comes in, fights April, and I was genuinely quite surprised by this bit because we do get to see April, she's fighting the guy, at one point even rips out his eye. I was very surprised at that. I mean, well, it's April, you don't expect her to be doing that kind of stuff, and well, here she is, and it's like sad that like, she only got to do that kind of stuff at the very end, but yeah, and then she just gets shot. Really, the Tail character who's been there from the very beginning up till the very end of the original Turtles, the character who's, you know, like the only character which anyone has any sort of real like connection to, they just shot her. Oh boy, this just feels so disrespectful for her character ending. Is it not? Like, really, she gets shot. I mean, this really does feel like it's on par with like how they killed off some of these Suicide Squad members. Like how they killed off like some of the Justice League members in Kill the Suicide Squad. In the game about the like Suicide Squad killing Justice League, it feels like it's on par with that with like Harley Quinn shooting Batman. You know, like big respectable characters just get shot. I mean, I know it's April, she doesn't have much armor or anything like that, but at the same time, she just got shot. Really, and yeah. She dies, and I guess that's where they're going to be setting things up for the next series, which, great, I guess, but it just felt like her death just felt so meaningless and pointless. It felt like it's just happened just so that they can have a shock value kind of thing and just have a big death in there. And I felt like had actually given us a proper send-off of a character, we're seeing Mikey or going back to the afterlife of all the other Tail characters, that would have been like such a great send-off, other than just seeing her die and just lay there in everyone's arms. It's just, there could have been a better ending. But then speaking for endings, we do have one final page, which is where they send up the actual Foot Clan for their big return. And I feel like I probably should have had a better reaction to all this, but we do get the big reveal that Jaro, the person Casey's dating, is actually part of the Foot Clan. And yeah, I mean, that's good, I guess. I mean, I don't think anyone really knows or cares about Jaro, or even knows that his name is actually Jaro until we actually got to this bit. I mean, I've forgotten who this character really was. I mean, it's only until after reading this bit I was like, oh, is it that person? And even then, I'm not excited for this character whatsoever. I mean, I'm hoping there'll be something interesting later in the series, but at the same time, what I've done so far in this series and also like Lost Years, my expectations aren't really there. But yeah, I'd say that overall for this issue, just like with the like past few issues, it's a very annoying series where there's a lot of stuff which you want to love and enjoy because there's so many like interesting new elements about this new comic series. We've got like new Turtles, Casey being there and all that kind of stuff. But then when you actually read the series with all the villains, all that kind of stuff, with so many characters where it feels like so necessary and they're just there just because they're there, and most of them not really having too much. It's just annoying because you want to like these characters, but yet you don't know anything about them, and it feels like it's so overpopulated. It's just. And then you get this issue where it's just so unfocused what they're trying to do, and well, I hope that for the next series it does like improve upon all the qualities, but I doubt it. But at least it's like the final issue for this one, so that's the only good thing as well. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below what about this issue. Do you like it? Do you not? And yeah, that's going for today, guys. It's some please subscribe to stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.